Sure. Well, it was a wild night. It was a wild night. I guess this is my my own personal return to Maction after a 9 or 10 year hiatus. So I think it was easier being a special teams coordinator in the SEC, playing Georgia and playing Tennessee than doing this. But it's a wonderful group of kids, and we are far from perfect. We didn't coach perfect tonight. We certainly didn't play extremely well in any phase. We had 3 turnovers. I think we gave up 200 yards of offense on 3 plays that were blown assignments or missed tackles. But this group, they just have something about them, you know, that they just keep fighting and they hang in there. And we talked all week about this being a 12-round fight, because sometimes people don't believe me when I get up here and talk about the other team and compliment the other team. But Ball State's got an incredible offense. I mean, they have some really, really terrific players. The quarterback, the tight end, some of those receivers, number 1 when he comes in. And we were concerned all week about matchups on those guys. And right now we've got our own challenges and issues on defense. And so, you know, that certainly was evident all game long. But we didn't help ourselves with some of the missed tackles and some of the assignment busts. But we hung in there and obviously played much better defensively in the second half. And, you know, really bowed up when we needed to, particularly in the overtime period. And, you know, offensively, it seems like we never get too high or too low, and then that's really starts with Dave Patnode, and the kids really feed off him. You know, he never panics, and, you know, CJ looked incredible at times tonight. I thought he ran the ball extremely well. But there were some throws that sailed on him. There were some throws that he underthrew that ended up being intercepted. But CJ doesn't get down on himself, and he's going to come back out there and fight back. So that's what tonight was all about. Tonight was just really came down to, you know, who could throw the last punch, and you know, we hung in there and made some plays down the stretch, and then threw the last punch and connected on it. So we will take it. We will take it. We will take it. And it's pretty cool that we're in this position now in mid-November. Ugly as it may have been at times, we're sitting here with 6 wins. And these kids, you know, have worked really hard to get to this point. And now we've got 2 more weeks to continue to work to get better here, and hopefully put ourselves in position, you know, let's just try to win number 7 next, right? And it's not going to be any easier than this, I'm sure, because I know the next team throws the heck out of the ball too, and has some, you know, really good quarterback and really good skill players. So I'm sure we're going to be in for another wild ride. But one thing you know about these kids is they're on board, and they love this place. They love each other, and they're gonna do what they can do to get themselves ready and give themselves a chance.
Pete, what does it mean for this program, for this group of players, to earn bowl eligibility and to win a Maction game of one of those midweek crazy nights?
Yeah, I mean, this, you know, 2 weeks ago we were talking about how most of these kids had never won a game in November, and now they've won 2. And 2 that were not easy to win. 2 really explosive offenses that we played. So good for them. Good for them. They need to enjoy this. You know, we push them hard. We're demanding. You know, we treat them with a lot of respect and treat them well, but we coach them hard too, and they like it. You know, they want it. They want to be pushed. They want to be pushed, and they want to be challenged. And here we are in mid-November, and you know, they're still hanging around this building when they don't need to be, right? So that's the cool thing. I feel like they've earned this with how hard they've worked and how they've persevered. And a lot of them, it's on an individual level persevering. CJ has had challenges in his career, and you can go down the list to a bunch of other guys, and here they all are. So it's I'm happy for them.
And also, what is this kind of game? Coming back from a 14-point deficit, going to overtime, and muscling out overtime. What does it say about kind of the state of your team and your program right now?
Yeah, we don't make things easy, but we've got some grit, and that's the thing. In this day and age, grit is there's not enough of it, and we've got a bunch of guys that have it, and grit and passion and togetherness. That can help you overcome some other deficiencies, and I think tonight was evidence of that.
Coach, how much was this maybe a goal that you always feel like you get first year goals to have to go back? How much was this a part of that?
Well, you certainly hoped that we could get to this point. You certainly hoped that we could, and but you never know. I mean, we came into some challenging circumstances with whatever it was, 14 guys that left, and most of these guys, showed up here, and I think we recruited 3 of the freshmen, and then obviously, a handful of transfer guys that joined us over the summer. So you never know how things are going to come together. But as I've said many, many times, we've tried hard to bring in good people, and I think we retained some good people on the staff and encouraged some people, good people on the team to stay and stick with us, and then tried to bring in some more good people. And so it all starts with your character and loving football. And I'd like to think that if things didn't go our way tonight, that you would have saw the same kind of fight out of our kids going into the next game and then the last game. So again, just happy for them.
As much as you want to play a clean game and probably win easier, how much do you expect coming into these midweek action games that it's going to finish up like this?
Yeah, it was wild, and I figured, I anticipated that they were going to, Ball State, that is, make plays throwing the ball. Some of the yardage we gave up in the run game tonight, and with some shorter throws where we missed tackles, that's very uncharacteristic of us, and we're capable of better than that. And then the other thing that we've done such a good job of this year is taking care of the ball, right? And we had, Alj fumbled, CJ with the interceptions, and then we put the ball on the ground a couple other times, and whatever happened, it bounced out of bounds and things like that. Now, I will say, and this is no defense at all, I mean, it's inexcusable that we did that tonight, but it got very slick out there in the second half. You could feel the humidity. The field was starting to gloss over with the humidity and almost kind of frosty, and that ball got slick. J.J. Jenkins, who just played an incredible game, he fell down going to try to block a punt and ran into the punter. Thankfully, that didn't hurt us. He fell down on another route or two just trying to cut. We obviously had the issue on the extra point. So it was, the conditions got a little wild out there too, just because it felt like 80% humidity. And that was affecting things too. But look, it wasn't pretty, and it was one of those nights where I feel like I could have done a better job coaching. I think our coordinators all feel that way too, and I know our players are all gonna look at themselves, because that's the kind of guys they are again, and say, man, I put this ball on the ground, or I underthrew this one for an interception, or I missed this tackle, or I busted this assignment. But that being said, we still found a way against a pretty good team. So that's pretty cool.
team strategy in overtime?
I don't know if there was a strategy per se. I mean, you got the coin toss is half the strategy, right? Because based on how things play out, playing defense first. That was probably our best series of the game on defense in overtime, which was so good to see. I will say this in terms of strategy: when they kick the field goal, you're not starting to get conservative and say, hey, let's just kick a field goal and try to send it to the next overtime. No, I mean, you gotta go for a touchdown and less. And the speed sweep was great because that got us a nice chunk play on the first one. You're thinking go unless you get the fourth down, and then you got to send it hopefully to the second overtime. But you can't even assume field goals, so you got to stay aggressive.
Golak's interception and being able to score at the last second in the half, how crucial was that?
Oh goodness, what a swing in momentum! What an incredible swing, and yeah, I mean. We can sit here all night and debate, what you do there, if you're on the other side. But, the way they were going through us and over us and around us, they were probably thinking, hey, we can get another score here before the half, or at least a field goal. And, one thing that we did preach all week, we were able to bat down some balls because he's a very good quarterback, but he's a shorter quarterback. And part of what we were trying to do was get guys in the throwing lanes on some of those glance routes and slant routes, and that's what we were able to do there. But it was a huge swing. A lot of big momentum swings tonight. A lot of big ones.
Could you see the excitement when the players activate? Obviously, part of that was the way the game went in the end, but also part of that reaching bowl eligibility.
Yeah.
Just to see sort of the elation from your players with that.
Yeah, again, we got a great bunch of guys. They've been really trying hard since January 22nd to do the right things and to do what it takes to give themselves a chance. And so to see it pay off, second overtime win. We've had some wild games, some games where we played really well, some games we didn't play really well, some games we played really well at times and not well at times. So it's been a roller coaster ride for these guys, but they never get discouraged, and they truly enjoy this time around each other. So here we are, and let's keep battling here and see what happens the next 2 weeks.
Can I just ask you, having been in this league, elsewhere on the college football map, now back here tonight with this game, how unique are these action experiences?
Yeah.
And what happens in the game, your national television audience, but then the live audience, it's dwindling as the night goes along. Just how unique is that compared with everywhere else you've been?
Yeah, unique is a great way to put it, because the trade-off is the national exposure, but November nights, midweek, the average fan's going to park on the couch and, have a bowl of chips and salsa out in front and watch the game from there, which, I get. You can't blame them. So that's the trade-off, and that's always been the trade-off in this league, going back to my first go-around. But I do think, a big part of the panache of this league is doing just this. These wild midweek games. So, it was a good show tonight.
That game-winning touchdown, how did that unfold? Why did you get the ball?
We called the play, and I looked over to my side that I was running to. I saw it was over the corner, so I went out there. Me and CJ had actually blocked the eyes before he threw it, so I know he was going to throw it. And when he threw that back shoulder, I knew I had to catch it.
What was it like going through the review period as well?
I was basically just praying and hoping that things didn't change because I knew I caught it. So, yeah, I was pretty much just hoping that it was going my way.
What do you think propelled this team You were down 45-31 at one point. What was it that propelled this team to come back?
I mean, we always talked about playing 60 minutes plus, and that plus really brought it out. Our defense did what they had to do, getting a stop. So I knew that when offense got on the field, we had to do it.
CJ, what were you thinking about what your team needed to do and the challenge when you're down 14 points with 7 minutes left?
I would say I want to appreciate or thank my teammates for holding me up, because when I threw the pick, I kind of like went down, but they held me up, and I knew like the defense was gonna get a stop. So I feel like them getting a stop and the team just rallying behind me just gave me some confidence, and us just going down and scoring like just helped us.
Knowing you need 2 scores, you need to do it quickly. Does it change, the offensive mindset at all?
Yeah, we just went at a faster tempo, but still just running our base plays. We weren't in full 2-minute mode yet.
CJ, how physical of a game was this for you personally?
It was pretty physical. I feel like every game is physical, but I want to shout out my O-line. I don't think I got sacked today, but on the design runs, that's the one I took some of the hits, but no sacks, so that's always a good thing.
Did you get your hand, a little bit of hand issue as well during the game as well?
I don't think it was nothing crazy. It's just cold. My hands locking up a little bit.
Sean, what did you see on that play with the interception before halftime? Just how much did you feel like that was a advantage?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I just want to give all the praise and glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, I wouldn't be in that position. What we just saw is, that formation we worked on in practice, and we knew what they're going to go to. They wanted to go their tight end number 88. And I just had to make sure I stayed inside leverage. And then, had to make a play on the ball.
Sean, what does it mean for this program, to earn bowl eligibility with a new coach and to win a MAC game, a midweek night game? Because that's 4 years.
Yeah, it means everything to us as players, and then also the staff. This is our second win in November in the past 3 years, and the way we fought till the end, it shows what kind of team we are, and we're always going to continue fighting until there's zeros on the clock.
What can you say about the culture that Coach Lembo has just as
Yeah, it's just doing the little things right and just being in the moment. Not taking any play that's too high or too low. Just taking it as it is, and celebrating the wins and not taking anything for granted. I think we do a good job on just being in the moment and making the plays that we have to make. And Coach Lembo, he praises us for the plays we make, but when we're not doing things well, he also corrects that. And it's just overall great coaching and just great player accountability.
Brad, Ball State was moving the ball, scoring a lot of points throughout the game. How, as a defense, were you guys able to kind of play your best possessions at the end when you really needed it?
I'd say the times when they were moving the ball and all that stuff, it was a lack of execution on our part. So at the end, when we kind of buckled down, bowled up, and stopped them from scoring and stuff like that, that's simply us finally getting that execution stuff right. And we're going to have to do a lot more of that to get where we want to be.
JJ, what was his team strategy going into overtime?
Score.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, just score. Had to win the game.
What was you guys' reaction to JJ's game time? This two-point conversion.
Yeah.
The touchdown.
Yeah. A lot of relief. Personally, I got to do a lot of things better on my end. And defensively, we got to fix a lot of things, and just having the offense have our backs in those moments. That's what means everything to me and this team. When things go wrong, we know we can count on each other, and that's what we were able to do in the end. JJ made a tremendous catch. CJ made a great throw, and he came down with it, and that's what we needed.
CJ, from your perspective, what was your reaction?
They were showing us a lot of one-high coverages earlier in the game, so my mindset was to look the safety off and then come back to JJ because he would be in the corner all night. And they kind of like rolled to cover two, tried to throw it like a whole shot. So I was just seeing him come down, it just looked crazy.
LJ, what do you think really propelled this team to this comeback, down 14, force overtime, and then, get the opportunity to overtime to win? What do you think propelled the turnaround?
We just knew that it was going to be a dogfight throughout the whole game. We just knew that we had to just be ready to take a hit and also give a hit as well, and just keep going back and forth and just keep playing our game, no matter what the outcome was on the other side.
Sean, how would you maybe describe the Maction experience, playing a back and forth game on a cold night, national TV, and everything that gets wrapped into?
Yeah, I think, when you talk about Maction, it's anything can happen. You can have a bottom team in the conference and a top team in the conference, and you got to play the game at the end of the day. And any team can beat any team, and if you're not prepared and if you're not going in with an attitude that you're going to dominate and you're going to do all the things right, then anything can happen. As you saw today, we didn't execute as much, and we were in a bad spot, but we were able to finish, and that's what matters. We stayed together as a team, and we were able to get the dub.
Sean, you guys are now one of 6 teams that have 4 or 5 wins in the MAC. What are these next 2 weeks going to be like?
Yeah, it's going to be a dogfight. We know we have to win. MAC championships still in our minds, and a couple of things got to happen. But as long as we continue this train and continue to win on our end, good things are going to happen. Like I said, anything can happen in MAC play. We just got to be on our A game every single week.
Red, is this the most Maction-y thing ever that you guys give up 48 points and 500 yards, and the 2 you guys are still putting it up here?
Absolutely. Yeah. No doubt about it.
Could you ever imagine, as that game is going on, that you might still be the heroes?
I don't know about heroes, but
We're not the heroes.
it's that what you just saw was a team effort at the end of that game, and got to give credit to the coaches and the guys who just continue to fight. Coach Lemble emphasized, it's going to be a boxing game, in the boxing ring, and you're going to have to take blow for blow, and you're going to have to give it back. And the guy who's standing is going to come out with that win, and we're able to do that.